Nelly, I think we'll start. You just got off the golf course. We've heard from a lot of players. It's a very unique course. Just what's your take on it? I think Charlie called it the hilliest flat course she's ever played.
That's very accurate, yeah. It's definitely going to take a lot of creativity, I would say, especially with, trusting your lines more of also trusting that your carries too. There's some holes where if you don't carry it 230, 235 with no wind, then you could have, instead of, a pitching wedge, you can have a 6-iron in because it'll come all the way down the slope. So it's definitely a very unique golf course, but it's also fun to sometimes switch it up and play something you normally don't.
Yeah. Talk about the finishing holes, both par threes.
Yeah.
How cool will that be, or how unique is that?
Yeah, we don't really get to finish, on par threes. Last one that I could think of that I actually finished on was at Wilshire when we used to play out there. But yeah, it's a very tough, it's a shorter par three. I think it's a beast of a hole. The first day I played it on Monday, I had a 7-wood in, and today it was a little bit more downwind, so I had a 5-iron in. But 9 is more of like all a straight carry, and the defense of that hole is the greens. I would say the golf course is already tough enough with the way that you kind of have to route your shots, but then the greens are really tough as well. They're very undulated, just kind of like a typical Donald Ross golf course.
Yeah. Last one before I open it up to media on site. Obviously, outside of the results, what do you think is the best part of your game right now?
I think my patience, for sure. Mentally being on the golf course, just really enjoying it, knowing that I am going to make mistakes and that it's okay. It's not going to ruin my round, that it's okay to bounce back. Sometimes I feel like in the past I've been very scared to make mistakes, and that's locked me up a little bit. So just kind of trying to stay free on the golf course, knowing, my swing's not going to be perfect every week. Maybe to the outside, they don't see as precise of like what I see, the detailing of my golf swing. But for me, as long as I stay mentally fresh, that's the most important.
Yeah. All right, we'll open it up. Sarah, if you want to start.
Hi.
Nelly, you've had a little bit of time to digest the latest victory. Are you feeling refreshed coming into this week with a week off?
If I'm being honest, not really. It was a really quick turnaround, really 6 days at home. And, you need to give your body a break because you played 2 weeks in a row with all the travel too. But then it's, you're getting ready for a big summer ahead. So it's like you can't rest too much. So body doesn't feel 100%, but, that's kind of, I think everyone gets into that middle of the season when you travel a lot, you play a lot, you don't really have too many weeks where you can rest, especially going into kind of the part of the season right now where we have kind of all the majors stacked up. But it was nice to be home and to kind of digest the win. And I had my family out at Chevron, and then I had Casey's family out in Mexico. So it was a lot of fun. So yeah, just enjoyed a little bit of time at home sleeping in my own bed, but also made sure to, practice a lot.
This golf course has a lot of Erin Hills flavor. I know you played well there last year, just all the slopes and undulations. Do you look at this property and kind of feel like it suits your game in a way?
Well, I would hope so. But yeah, it's definitely different. I would say that it's very accurate on like where we're actually hitting from. It's very flat. It's more of like the walk is just brutal out here. So you don't have too many blind shots. I felt like at Erin Hills, you had almost every hole was a blind shot, even if it was a tee shot or into the green approach shots. But I think not every golf course is going to suit my game per se, where I can whip out a driver and hit it as far as possible and, use my length to my advantage. I feel like this golf course this week, you're going to have to play with it a little bit more. The rough is pretty thick, so being in the fairway is a really big premium this week going into these greens.
And then last one for me, we haven't seen you domestically since you were on the Pat McAfee show. You seem like you had so much fun. Was there a moment in particular that made you crack up or, it was really funny that you would like to expand upon?
The entire show, honestly, he was so high energy. I was just trying to match it just a little bit, but I don't think anyone can ever match his energy. It was a lot of fun, getting to experience a different audience for sure, a different set of maybe questions that I normally get to, a different media opportunity is really cool. I can definitely see that for me, like in my standpoint, whenever I get an opportunity to kind of reach a broader audience, I think that's really fun. And obviously they don't really know too much about golf. I know that they did a interview with Cameron Young, I think a few weeks before that, and I think they did one right after as well when he won. But I think just in general, it's fun to talk to people like that and to hear their questions and their insights and like their excitement about the game of golf.
Amy?
With it being such a crazy stretch, are there certain things that you eliminate from your routine, you try to streamline or do differently to try to manage your body and your energy?
Yeah, I'll probably listen to my body a lot more, as in maybe pushing it in the gym. While if I have a few weeks off, I really try to get a good training block in the gym. But I think I went to the gym 2 to 3 times last week, which normally I'm doing that way more, or I'm like getting a run in or something. But I just listen to my body a little bit more. I prioritize sleep and treatment with Kim. What's nice about Kim is I have her on the road. I also have her at home. Like I see her literally almost 365 days a year. And I think that's kind of mainly it, like not overdoing it. Like I love to practice, but I know that I have limits. Like at the end of the day, it's all about staying fresh mentally.
You mentioned the creativity that you can, it's kind of demanded on this golf course. Were there certain shots as a kid that you remember kind of experimenting with, or crazy ones that you tried to perfect when you were growing up?
I had a great coach growing up, and a lot of people actually ask me, like parents ask me this question of like, how can I get my kid into the game of golf? Like, how do I keep them interested? And I had a great coach growing up that, like, yeah, we did technique, we did the fundamentals, but you can only do that for so long as a kid before you're not 100% there mentally. Like your attention span is not great. And we just started like working on creativity of hitting flop shots over trash cans, flop shots over trees onto the green. And that's kind of like what I loved doing as a kid is like I was on the pitching green and I was just hitting the craziest shots because they were fun.
Was that David?
No, her name was actually Tracy Reiser. I started working with David when I was 14. And yeah, I mean, honestly, before that, I was just struggling with my back actually as a 14-year-old already. And I was in pain a lot. And he brought my love back for the game. Like I loved spending time with him. I always called him a ninja. I would ask him a few questions. I would look back, he was there. I would hit a few balls. I would look back, he was gone. But he was just a great coach to have. I think I thank him so much for a lot in my career because I honestly wouldn't be where I am without him. I give him credit for my swing. Like he literally built it. I have swings from when I was around 2013, 2012, where I look at it right now and I just cringe so hard. I'm like, how do my parents think the swing was okay? Like that was my main question. And but I would say as like a kid, I just worked on like a lot of the creativity side of the game versus more of like the fundamentals.
Last one from me. You got on a similar hot run in 2024 to start the season. How is it different this time around?
I'm just not going to put as much pressure on myself. If I have a bad week, I'm just going to brush it off and just go and try to improve the next week. I'm not going to make it seem like, I'm not going to go into a panic mode. Yeah.
Shizuka? Yeah.
So you just mentioned that you listen your body if you take a rest or you practice. Mm-hmm. So I'm just wondering if you have any specific routine to recover quickly your body or to gain your more practice?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, number one thing is always sleep and rest. Is just like sometimes doing too much is too much. Like even with treatment, like yes, just because something hurts, like if you treat it too much, you're not letting that muscle or injury rest, and you just kind of need to let it be for a little bit. So the first couple of days, I just kind of live a regular life. Like I sleep in a little bit. I don't go to the gym. I just try to give my body a little bit of a break. And then after that, I mean, you know, I do the standard of making sure that my body is in alignment, because with the travel and with golf, at the end of the day, it's like a one-sided sport. So if you ever look at like a golfer, our bodies are so twisted. Like we're never like standing straight, or we're never going to be symmetrical. So, you know, the making sure that I'm as symmetrical as I possibly can be, my body's in line, and then I can hit the gym.
How many hours do you sleep?
Do I sleep? I love to sleep, but I try to get between 8 to 10. Yeah.
Do you eat any like a specific protein?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid already in our household, we ate very clean. So I love to cook. I love to eat clean. I just make sure that my nutrition is a priority.
The last question from me. So you mentioned you work out as professional athlete. Mm-hmm. So not as a golfer. Yeah. So just wondering, what's the important workout as professional athlete?
I mean, everyone's different. You know, some people will do golf-specific exercises, but I think it just depends on like what you want to achieve in the gym. And I don't really want to do golf-specific exercises that help me with my swing, because then I start to overthink it. And when I swing freely, then that's when I swing the best. So all I'm really trying to do is just build a good foundation of strength that protects my whole structure of my body.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll finish with Jeremy.
Two quick questions from me on with this being a new course. What's your typical preparation that is different from going to a course that you have played kind of year in, year out?
Yeah, just do a little bit more work around the greens. You know, every year I feel like I've played Cincinnati when we played a little up north. I think it was TPC South Bend, right? Every year just played a little different. So my prep is almost the same every single time. The only thing that I have is like, okay, I have a little bit more knowledge in the back of my book that, you know, I hit this tee, I hit this shot that year, I hit this club that year off this tee. But overall, you know, I do the just stock standard. Like I just go out, play, and I chip around the greens, you know, write the X's in the book where, you know, it's just not a good place to be. But other than that, I don't do anything really crazy.
We're entering a stretch kind of starting this week, going through the summer, where the LPGA is in kind of mid-market cities, but the fans come out in droves starting this week. What's the energy like from you guys when you see on the first tee, just fans along the first tee and little girls and little kids watching you as you play week in and week out? It's
the best. It's one of the best things that, you know, best parts of this job is that we get to inspire the next generation. We get to play in front of amazing crowds. I mean, I've definitely seen the crowds grow the past couple of years, and it's another motivational factor to play better, you know, to make sure that they want to come back and that they're inspired by our play and impressed by our play, which, you know, there is a lot of talent out here. There's so much talent. There's so many amazing personalities that don't have the opportunity to get showcased. But I also think that it's all about bringing new fans in, and the fans that are coming in, we see them, and it's a lot of fun to play in front of. And I think the thing that what we do really well as LPGA players is that we take the time and we go up to all the little girls and little boys, and we make sure we sign everyone's autograph.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Nelly.
Thank you.